The level of work that goes into the big production of the Descendants franchise movies is truly something to marvel at. Each Descendants movie requires hours of rehearsal, choreographed practicing, perfectly designed outfits for each cast member, hair and makeup, line memorization, stunts, and more. If you add on the fact that some of these cast members are young and not seasoned professionals yet, it's truly impressive that Descendants has turned into the masterpieces that they are. Every set piece designer, makeup artist, actor, cameraman, and beyond has a lot to live up to. All this pressure, we're sure, can lead to mistakes and mishaps. It's inevitable. Good thing these films have such an amazing cast and crew that keeps these missteps to a minimum, and often turn unpredictable events on set into amazing moments in the movies. Let's take a look at some things that went wrong on the Descendants 3 set. Bloopers. When you have a crew as goofy and fun-loving as the Descendants gang, things are always bound to go haywire at some point, right? Bloopers are a staple of any movie or TV show, and who among us hasn't spent hours looking at gag reels from every show imaginable? The Descendants cast bloopers are especially charming and entertaining because of all the elements that come into play on the magical and whimsical Descendants set. There's something extra special about watching Mal not be able to catch a sword in her full costume no matter how many times it's thrown at her. And did you see that crazy shot of all the new VK kids, Squeaky and Squirmy, Celia, and being told not to laugh but still bursting out into laughter anyway? And don't forget all the many lines that were forgotten or said with an accidental laugh. If you take a look at all the behind-the-scenes bloopers for Descendants 3, two of the biggest things that went wrong on set luckily didn't turn into anything that would have ended up on the news. If you notice in the bloopers, there's a scene where Jay and Carlos are supposed to jump off quite a high ledge and land in the arms of other Auradon citizens below. At first, everything seems to be going fine, but out of nowhere, you notice that Jay is almost dropped by his buddies that are supposed to be holding him. If they hadn't been able to keep him up, he probably could have been injured. We've always heard all the stories about cast members leaving set with bruises. I'm sure that would have been quite a big bump if the team that was holding him didn't catch him just in time. We wish we knew the name of the backup dancers that caught him because we'd send them a thank you card for not dropping one of our favorite VK kids. Another blooper that we really can't get over is a scene when someone, Kenny Ortega, director of the Descendants movies, almost ruined a really great scene because he let his cell phone go off. The funniest part of this particular blooper was he was trying to figure out who was ruining this great scene, only come to find out just a couple seconds later the disturbance was coming from his phone. Kenny, we only forgive you for this goof because you basically made one of our favorite movies of all time, although it helps to know that even a creative genius like Ortega can have really silly mess-ups like this one. An interesting story inconsistency. This possible accident or just oversight on the part of the writers is something we wish someone on set would have pointed out. At the beginning of the movie, Mal is forced to fight her dad, Hades, as he tries to break through the barrier of the Isle of the Lost to make it into Auradon. She's only able to fight him off because she turns into a huge dragon and fights with his Ember's powers. After she transforms back into a human, she tells everyone that she felt like Hades had taken away her powers. Your immediate reaction when watching this is, oh no, I don't want to watch a whole movie without Mal using her powers. We're relieved to find out that it doesn't seem that her powers were affected in any way, which is odd because it seems like that's the main thing Hades was trying to do when he attacked Mal with his powers. We're willing to chalk this one up to the fact that Mal is just that powerful. Or maybe her dad Hades held back on using his abilities fully with her because she's his daughter. No matter what your conclusion is, it is a little odd, right? Let us know in the comments below what your personal theory is on why Mal thought her powers were being taken away by Hades, but we never actually got to see them leave. We'd love to know. An unscripted moment. So wrong. Or so right? Did you know that the last scene in Descendants 3 wasn't actually in the original script? Normally, trying to pull off an unscripted scene is a difficult task for the actors and crew of any movie or TV show. But the moment that the Core 4 wanted to create to end out this series, I assume was too good for the director to pass up. The last scene as they reflect back on their history and talk about being rotten to the core was an idea that the Core 4 came up with themselves. To them, it was a special way to reflect and honor their roles and characters. And how could you not get goosebumps watching them run off into the sunset? Yes, it was a moment that wasn't planned and could have gone wrong, but it actually ended up being one of the best scenes in the franchise. We have to be thankful that these actors cared so much about the characters that they wanted to give them the send-off they knew they deserved. Our hearts were warmed even more when we knew how they all wanted to end their time on set. In the actors' interviews, they described their last day after filming their final scene. None of them wanted to leave. They made a deal that they would lay there on set where they had just filmed until someone forced them to leave. It's so great to know that the actors were just as sad to leave Auradon and its happily ever after as we were. Of course, we wonder who the person was that actually had to tell this crew of best friends to leave their home in Auradon. That's not a job we'd want. We've watched all the Insta stories and Snapchat videos. We've seen this team of villain kids be there for each other through some real tragedy, and we've seen them laugh together through 3 whole movies and behind-the-scenes footage. Even when things go wrong, these group of Disney characters from the world of Auradon always find a way to bounce back and have given us a story we'll remember for a long time. Thank you for watching, and sound off in the comments below about your favorite story from Descendants set has been. Bye-bye.